Well, welcome to the Helping Families Be Happy podcast, where we explore the often messy world of family love and relationships. I'm your host for this podcast, Christopher Robbins, the co-founder of Familius Publishing, husband, father of 9, author, fly fisherman, backpacker, and aspirational musician based in the beautiful Central Valley of California. And we hope to bring you nourishing, real-life information about love, family, relationships, and life. And today we're welcoming our guest, Brian Brown. Now, Brian is the sole gentleman in a household full of ladies that include his high school sweetheart wife, his preteen only child, a daughter, of course, 2 golden egg-laying hens, and a border collie. He spent his career connecting businesses person to person. That's taken him all over the world, and especially away from home. He currently leads a boutique business development firm, Partner Philosophy, specializing in revenue, relationship building. Having spent the last decade in the Utah mountains, his love of outdoor activities, all seasons, has only grown. Well, today we're discussing parenting on the road when one works full-time. The information shared aligns with the Familius habits love together and play together and even work together. You can learn more about the Familius 10 Habits of Happy Families by going to the Habit Hub blog on Familius.com. And for the video of this podcast, please go to the YouTube Familius channel. Well, Brian, thanks for taking a moment out of your busy global schedule to join us today. Thank you.
Absolute pleasure. It's been a long time coming, so thanks for carving it out.
So let's talk about this. Working full time, on the road, away from home. How can you be an engaged and loving a parent when you're miles away?
Well, I've thought about this question a lot, and I haven't always been perfect at it. So I would say my number one value proposition has always centered around being real. I think a lot of times, especially with young kids, it's easy to gloss over a tough day or a long day or a whatever type of day. And so I just started the habit pretty early on with my daughter when I would connect with her, whether that be FaceTime, phone call, text message, whatever we had, whenever I was traveling, of just, just as much as she was really good at telling me what her friends at school would say or some trip up that she had, I treated it as a very real conversation. And I think it's been awesome to see over the years as she's developed that response come into play of like, oh, okay, like it's real life. It's not just dad's at work, right? There was real conflict or excitement or elements to what happened during the day wherever I was.
Okay, well, being real, but help us understand how you can create quality time when you are away, maybe even in different time zones. What are the specific things that you do to make sure that your daughter knows that you are engaged, you are a proactive parent?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the big things was getting out of the habit of connecting after everything else happened, right? So I would actually, a lot of times I'd schedule, even if it was impacting the travel, I do a lot of events, right? So I'm at conferences that last into the night with, happy hours and post happy hours. And so I was really proactive about, even if it was like, we got the conference room floor, I would schedule it and say, hey, let's get on the phone at the hour that works best for me. I think doing that in of itself, even if you're not telling your child you're doing that, just the mere aspect of making them the priority, even though you're in a busy environment, tends to have a really lasting impact on them feeling seen and truly engaged.
Okay, well, let's talk about something else. I mean, maybe the physical, who knows what the love language is for the child. But what about the power of parental gifts, both tangible and intangible? What have you done there, and what's your advice for us who are working full time and away from home?
Yeah, so when I was traveling to exotic places, right, whether it be Cancun or Madrid, Spain, Miami, all these places all over the world, right? The initial habit about 15 years ago was for me to buy some teddy bear or trinket, right? That's pretty stereotypical, or bring like a candy or something, which is fine. But I quickly it quickly kind of fell like a dud. It was like, oh, okay, just like another gift while dad was gone. So one habit that I started just about 10 years ago I have this weird affinity for bookstores. I just love local bookstores. I'm actually a terrible reader. Like I'm not good at reading books, but I just started, looking. One day I had this thought. I was in Mexico, I was in Cancun, and I had this thought. I had passed a local bookshop, and I thought I should buy something for my daughter there. And I ended up buying a book in Spanish. I speak Spanish to my daughter. I brought the book home. I wrote a little note in it about what happened on my trip in Cancun, and then we read the book together. And I told my coworkers about that on the next trip to Miami. We were in Miami, and they said, "Well, let's go find another bookstore." So we found another bookstore, and then now I'm about 100 bookstores in all over the world. And so now we have this habit, even if and they're always kid stories. I always, even though she's getting older and I'm getting older, I always buy a kid's book. I just think there's the life lessons that are so condensed in those. I think they're long lasting, and it'll be it's been a fun tradition to just come home and then now the cool thing is because I write a little summary of what the experience was. She remembers the business trips as much as I do, right? Because we'll have a quick conversation about what I learned, what challenges I had, and we'll do the same on her end. And so she'll be like, "Oh yeah, remember that one time you were in Bozeman, Montana, and you broke your wrist skiing, on a trip?" And yeah, I do remember that. Anyway, so that's been a cool tangible, and then now you have a wall of like, hey, here's all the ways that I thought about you while I was on the road. There's 100 books of me bringing home, talking about or thinking about you. So
Well, that's great. Well, as a book publisher, we certainly recommend and encourage people to go to their local bookstores throughout the world and find that special book that they can bring home to their family or their child and read that. It creates marvelous memories. I can tell you, I picked up a wonderful antiquarian edition of a Peter Pan from an independent, very small, out-of-the-way bookstore in London one year, and my 30-year-old son still treasures it. So
I believe it.
books just keep giving. And so what a great friend to bring home. So thank you for that. Now, let's shift to you have an interesting job. How do we help, since we're traveling the world and we're out there working, how do we help our children have a greater appreciation of what we're doing and help them get engaged in the life that we're living when we're not with them?
Yeah, I mean, conversationally, part of the familias values, right, is like talking with your children, spending time and talking with them. And so I just go back to that concept of when I do converse, with my child, that I don't hold back. I had a scenario one time where, I'm on the road, and it would have been easy to just get on the phone and wish my daughter good night and say I love you, and it was a really hard day. Nothing went right. And so that's what I led with, as I said, did anything go right for you today? And, she, told me something about her day or whatever. And I said, well, nothing went right for me today. Let me tell you about it. I love the aspect of, having genuine, open conversation. And when you challenge your children to talk about the reality of theirs, I used to, because I do travel a lot, when I am home, I tend to do pretty well at like getting my daughter from school and walking her home, right? And so one thing I'd always avoid the question, "How was your day today? How did it go at school?" Right? Because I mean, whether they're 5 years old or 15 years old, it's fine, good. So I just started, in my own mind, creating different questions that I thought were more specific. So it was like, "Did your friend say anything funny today?" And inevitably I'd always get a story out of it, right? Or, "Did your teacher get mad at anybody today?" "Oh yeah, there was, Johnny was pestering Sally or whatever." "Did what was recess like today? Did you guys go?" And I think the more specific you can be about asking those experiences, then it creates a reciprocity, right? Where then my daughter she got better at asking me instead of, "Hey, how was it spending all day flying across the country today?" Right? It would be like, "Did you get anything interesting, like any good food in Miami or, Dallas or whatever?" And so it created much more vibrant conversations when you kind of transitioned away from the stereotypical questions.
These are all great recommendations. So for our listeners, as you go out into the world and you're working full time, you don't have the opportunity to spend as much time with your family as you'd like to. Let's remember that we can stay engaged even when we're far away by making those calls, those texts, and thinking about our families. We can have personal gifts. Let's find something that aligns with them and create a theme or something that can last for many years. And let's help our children get engaged in what we're doing by sharing with them what happens in our day. Well, Brian, this has been really helpful. We're grateful that you could take time with us. Where can our guests find you online?
I'm not a crazy big social media guy, so I zeroed in on LinkedIn of all places several years ago. So there's only a few Brian Browns on there, but if you search me on LinkedIn, just linkedin.com/in/Brown R. Brian. That's me. Love to connect with you both virtually and bring that in person someday.
Well, great. Well, as we conclude today's podcast, I'd like to thank Familias for its support in bringing the podcast to your ears and your heart. We'd be thrilled if you subscribe to the podcast and left us a review. And of course, Familias has many, many, many children's and adult books for your family to enjoy. And when you're ready for that next amazing book adventure, please choose a book from Familias, one step at a time, one book at a time, one work travel time, but yet engaging with our family. We can make the world a happier place.